Tonight's TR, something a little different. I'm going to show you me working on a guitar. And you'll see why I don't usually do it. The project did not come out perfect. I installed a trem stop in this. I'm a little anal. I'm a little of a perfectionist. It might be a little bit of an angle of an installation because I'm working from the side to try and not block the camera. Yeah, I could get in it straight. It doesn't matter. It works fine, and it's behind this plate and you can't see it. And I mean, it's a little bit to the side, but it will bother me, but it works good. So anyways, I'll tell you about this guitar as I'm working on it. But this is a Trem Jr. It's a Steve Vai guitar. It's the affordable version, and I've done lots of mods to it, of course. The biggest is all the electronics have been gutted and replaced with the real deal DiMarzio branded CTS potentiometers, orange drop cap. I believe it's a Fender switch. Might be a CRL switch though. I don't know. This is the same thing. These are DiMarzio Steve Vai Evolution pickups. At the time I bought them, it was about $205 worth. But if you want to get them now, you better be breaking out 3 big bills. I'm going to show you as I go to. You'll see in the video. I changed the Floyd rose. Was the Ibanez one fine? Yes, it was. It was that smoked chrome color that I hate with a passion. And I happen to have this Floyd Rose Hot Rod Special laying around. It's got some silver components. Those would be the hot rod components. They're the ones that are the hardened steel. I really wish the saddles were hardened steel, but that jacks the price of your Floyd up. Anyways, and the tuners were the smoky, and I replaced them with black because I thought they went a lot better with the guitar. And of course the bizarre color scheme, because it's a Steve Vai guitar, right? So why not? So what I did is I put a trem stopper in. I make my trems all go down only. It's the easiest way to live with them. They're a pain in the butt to set up if you float them. That's why I don't mind a Floyd Rose Special, because it will work just fine for what I'm doing. A lot of them, I install a block of wood to make them go down only, which you have to get just the perfect size, and you put a little drop of Type Bond glue on and put it in, and it works good. But the trem stoppers are adjustable, which comes in where the perfectionist part comes in. I can get my bridge perfectly level because there's a wrench and a screw that turns that is just a slight angle off of being perfectly 90 degrees to the trem, and it doesn't matter because the end is rounded. And anyways, yeah, that's just me. And feel free to pick on me about that if you want. But yeah, this is the end result. This really nice guitar. It's got like the wizard neck. It's got the Jatoba fingerboard. Those are the things that make it cheaper. It's made in Indonesia, but you know what? They're making some gems that cost $1,800 in Indonesia. So I'm not going to be crying too much about that. I love the guitar. I have a lot of guitars. I know I love them all, but it's a super sweet guitar. And just one last thing before I show you me working on it. The switching, it does have the Steve Vai switching. So bridge pickup, single coil from the bridge with middle, just the middle, and then middle and single coil from the neck. And then of course the neck, full on humbucker. So very versatile. You don't have switches to turn coils off and on. They just do it on their own as you turn the switch. And I have a schematic I could share if anybody wants to see how to do that, but it's out there on the internet. And anyhow, with no further ado, here is me working on a guitar and not getting it lined up perfectly straight because I'm trying to not get in the way of the camera. But it's okay. I'm fighting the urge to not go in and redo it and make it perfectly straight because it doesn't show when you can't see. And anyways, roll film. And greetings everyone to today's workshop. No, I'm not down in the dirty old nasty basement. If I was doing like a fret job or sawing or cutting or something like that, that might be where we'd be. But we're in Studio A with air conditioning. And we have our little portable workbench set up, aka an ironing board and a fleece blanket, because it works. So, we are going to install a trem stopper. I did have a block of wood installed in this. I actually changed the trem. Let's hope this one works okay. Spacing seems to be perfect. Let me show you and tell you why. This is an Ibanez Gem Jr. Very good guitar. They're about 500 bucks. It's essentially an RG with a hole cut in it. Now let's get this little claw cut back here. And if I may show you the output jack, it's got a belly button recess thing. It's actually very nice. This is the Steve Vai guitar, the affordable version of the Steve Vai guitar. So, I like my trems to go down only. I either install a block of wood or a trem stopper. We're going to show you that. I know I don't usually show you me working on guitars. That's not what this thing's about. My channel. I'm not a pro by any stretch, although I do a lot of stuff. Love to try building a guitar someday, but I don't know. I know you don't need special tools, but you do need some special tools to do it right. But we'll see. Anyhow, so why did I change this trem out? Well, the one that came on it was this Ibanez trem, which I am sure is just every bit as good as this Floyd Rose Special hot rod I'm putting on here. Problem being is the color. It's that smoky chrome hardware that I don't like. Don't like it at all. I like the black better on it. Let me show you the headstock. I've already changed the tuners. It had the smoky chrome on the tuners. I think the black goes so much better with the black Ibanez logo and the writing. I did have to keep this because the string retainer that I had in black was slightly a different size. Go figure. Both guitars made in Korea, and yet the string retainers are different. So, this is trem stopper. It says Pro Rock Gear. Came from Sweetwater. What did it say on Sweetwater? It was Floyd Rose branded. It says right here that it's Floyd Rose. But Pro Rock Gear, a division of AP International. I don't know. You tell me. That doesn't sound like Floyd Rose to me, but maybe it is. But Sweetwater says it's Floyd Rose. They're the ones I like to use. Take your trem bar off. It's a pop-in bar in this Hot Rod Special. Hot Rod Special is a cheaper Floyd Rose, and I can go into all the differences for you here, but basically the Floyd Rose Original and 1000 have hardened steel parts. The Special has a spot hardened trem plate, which means the part that does business and hits against the post is hardened, but not the whole thing. And the big thing is the good Floyd Rose, which would be the 1000 series and the original, have hardened steel parts where like the strings lock in and stuff. So over time, the ones without the hardened steel parts will wear down and they'll have to be replaced. But they're fairly cheap. The hardened steel ones are fairly expensive. So to have the hardened steel ones actually pay money for the upgrade, you'd probably have to run through 4 or 5 sets of the cheap ones before you come up to the price of the hardened ones. I've got some that are thousands. I've got some that are specials. I've got one that I have upgraded with the hardened parts. Was it worth it? I don't know. I just wanted to, so I did. I don't have a little guitar-shaped cup for my screws like Sean does to scar my guitar, but I'm going to set them in a safe place here. So, this is how the trem stop is going to stop this tremolo from being able to be pulled back. It's going to go in here. I knew I would forget a tool I would need. I usually work downstairs. My toolbox is down there on the kitchen table, and my wife's watching television. And I know some whine-ass weenie in the comments would be like, well, it was really distracting hearing the television in the background. So I'm up here. We're going to show you how this works. If I have to, I can edit this for boredom purposes, because it might be boring. I'm sure it will be boring, some of it. I'll just try and hit the highlights. Here, you can see me opening the package. I'm off camera opening the package. Should I open the package on camera? You want to see me struggle with a Ziploc? You get PO'd and just get a knife and rip it open? I don't have one of those up here with me either. We can do that. So, what do we got? We got this gizmo. This thing's going to hit against the end of the Floyd Rose. It's adjustable with an Allen screw. Some of the ones you get like on Amazon and aftermarket and stuff will have a little nut that goes on the end to lock them in place. The FU tone ones will have a little nut that locks them in place. This doesn't. I thought the nut might be a little bit fiddly. Maybe not. You ever notice the English videos, they like that word fiddly. Anyways, I thought it might be a little fiddly. So, what I do is, I get it where it needs to go. I put a little of this on it. Make sure you get the Loctite blue. Don't use Loctite red. Loctite red does come off if you heat it with a torch. Loctite blue comes off with brute force. We like brute force. So where are we going to set this? I'm taking this out of here for starters till I get this set where I want it. Then I'll put it back in. So, let's see. Can we see what I'm doing from this angle? You might want to bring it around this way. Work with me here. I don't usually video this stuff. I usually just do it and say, here, I did this. So, I'm going to want to get this right at the edge. Matter of fact, I'm going to want to get it in such a way that if I was to back off that screw, I'd be able to use this trem normally. Where's my bar? Let's put it in. I'll show you. Do you really care? No, you probably don't care. But we're going to show you. So here's the back of the trem doing its thing. So if I were to pull back, it would do this. So I'm going to put this in here, but I'm going to want it such a way so that I could still pull the bar back, which means I can go right to the edge of this. So I'm going to get this right at the edge. We're going to install it right at the edge. Then we're going to get our screw set where it needs to go. We're going to put a dab of Loctite on it. Oh, you might say, but hey, that spring's going to be in the way. It might be. We'll find out. It might be, it might not be. If it isn't, that's great. If it is, we'll do a 2 on one side, 1 on the other, and I usually prefer doing the 2 on the side of the heavier string, which would be over here. And that's probably what we'll do. But I do like the trem stop, even though you could put it to the side, I like it in the middle. I think it's more stable in the middle. And you know, hey, that's just me, right? So I'm going to get this where it needs to go. I'm going to take a dot and I'm going to mark it. And where do I want to put my first screw? I want to try and get that first screw as close to this end as I can, the front side, because the pressure on this is going to be trying to push this back. And if I get that screw right against there, it can't go back. The other one can go anywhere. I mean, ideally you could put them anywhere and slide it to adjust, but now the tension of your screw is what's holding it. If I can get that screw right there, that's going to be a winner chicken dinner. So I got, kicking a tripod. That's what my cat's job is. I got a little nail. We're going to mark a starter hole. So I'm going to get this where I want it. And if I want to get really cute about it, what I can do is I can put a piece of tape on it to hold it where I want it. I can go back just a hair from the edge. But I would like it pretty close to the edge so that I'm not having a lot of that threaded screw sticking out to do the stopping action. I think right about there is where we're going to put it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to tap it with a hammer, and I have a little tiny hammer I was looking for that I can't find, which is too bad, so I'm going to have to use the big one. Make my little marker. That can go. Is it perfectly centered? Nope, but she's close enough. She's going to work. And I'll take my drill my pilot hole. I've got the bit good and small. I certainly don't want to split anything putting it in there, but I want a tight fit. So yeah, I know that seems like it's probably not necessary, but if you've ever messed any of these things up, you would know that it's potentially necessary. Put it in there. We'll tighten her down. Get her straight. And what I can do is maybe to get this back in, I think I am going to have to move that Trem block out of the way. What's the Metallica song? Sad but true. That's okay. Let that get out of our way there. Take all these springs right on out of there, huh? Because yeah, I would really like that to rest against the back of that. Then we're going to put our other hole in. That really doesn't matter where that goes. I can leave a little room. That gives me opportunity to slide forward if I want. Do that. Get this hammer out of the way before it does any damage. Is watching me work like watching paint dry? This is probably why I don't do this. And there's that. And then we'll put the other screw in. And then something tells me we may be searching for other implements and screwdrivers and things to get those springs back on. And there's one Trem stopper, partly installed. Now this little part's got to come in through the front here. We'll thread her back in. And this hole on this end is threaded for an Allen wrench, okay? Just so you know. Don't need those. Put our bar back in. So we can pull back on the strings and hopefully install the springs. So take a screwdriver, gotta be one small enough to fit in the end of this. I have the Trem bar in there so I can push that down. I will hold this with my thumb, this in here, leverage on the little claw, and click it into place. Now I got a little something holding it. Is that going to get in the way? Yeah, it is. So we're going to move it, but we'll get the two put in on the sides first, and then we'll do the two one side, one on the other, which I have on a lot of these. As I said, it's your choice. You can fit the Trem stop so that it fits in between these and it's off center. So, you know, if you're really hell-bent on having that spring in the middle, you can do that. It's your choice. Totally, just like the arrangement where the springs would go on a Trem. Some people put them at an angle, some people put them straight. It is going to change the tension. Some people would argue that if you do the springs at the angle, the middle spring doesn't have any tension on it, it's not doing anything. Well, it's doing something, but it's not pulling as tight. But you get a different tension by going at the angles. And you can buy springs that have different tensions too. Those Floyd Rose sells the coated ones, and then some of them are meant to be tighter than others, and I think it might actually be the same spring with just different lengths. I don't know for sure. They color code them. So I'll put that over there, and that'll be like that. Then what do I want to do? Well, let's move this around and come in here, and we'll look at this Trem from the side. We want this Trem to sit perfectly level. We don't want it up, we don't want it back, we want it level. And that is the point that we will set our stopper to, is to where it's level. All the tools on the floor so they don't fall on their own later. Now I'm going to work this Trem a few times to make sure that my posts are seated. Check my string action is good, everything's where I want it. So now I'll go and I'll adjust this. And as I'm looking at this, that could be a hair crooked, which could drive me nuts and make me want to change it, but I'm not going to, because once it's in there I won't notice the difference. This is why I don't do stuff on camera, because it distracts me. I'm trying to get the shot and then I don't quite do the job that I wished I would have done. But yeah, it won't show. Nobody will know. Good tension on these springs is what I'm going to want, so that it pulls back, so I can set it where it needs to go, and then afterwards I can back off on the tension on the springs to where it just engages on the Trem stop. That way it will be about as close to feeling like a floating one as it can without floating. If you get not enough tension and get an in-between spot with it, what will happen is when you play a note, you'll hear this chattering against that Trem stop, and it'll make like a buzzing sound. I think I have that where it's going to need to go, where it's hitting the stopper. Let's test it and see. Here, let me get my microphone down by here. What you can hear is when it hits it, you'll hear a click when the Trem stopper hits it. That click. That click's what you want to hear, so you know you got it seated. Now what I'm going to do is I want to get this, am I in shot here? I want to get this so it sits perfectly level. And I can adjust that by turning the trem stopper with an Allen key. But what I'm going to do first, back it out a little and put a little drop of that Loctite on it. Let's get the right size for our... A little bigger than that one. You know, this could come with an Allen key. This thing cost $18. It wouldn't have killed them to include an Allen key. Bigger than that one. Well, holy smokes. Maybe it's the size that the locking nut takes. That would make too much sense if it was, wouldn't it? It may be. So you see, I can feel that tension against there. And if you look, you'll see this bar moving as I move that. So I need to get that where it needs to go with a little dab of Loctite on it. And what I'll do first is I'll back it right out. I'll drop the Loctite on it, and then I'll put it where it needs to go, and the Loctite will harden up and I won't need to worry. Do I need the Loctite? I don't know. That's just a me thing. Just like, does this need to be crooked in here? Because I installed it a little crooked. Probably be better if I didn't. Trust me, all the other ones I've done are perfect. I'm going to blame you guys. And you know, if I wasn't happy, I could move it. That's not a problem. It's just more holes. I don't want more holes. Oh, the block of wood method I talked about, what I would do. See the space in here? I would cut a thin block of wood just the perfect size to fit in there and put a couple drops of tight bond glue on it and stick it in and call it a day. I still have a few that have the glue in them. I have been slowly, one at a time, swapping out the trem stops because I like the feel of the trem stop better than the wood. Don't ask me why. I like it better. Okay. You know how Sean says you don't have to wash this? You don't have to wash this. I'm going to put a dab of tight bond. I'm going to put a dab of Loctite right on there, and then I'm going to adjust this back into it. Sits right where I need it to be. Well, I'll keep the camera running. What the hell? All right? What the hell? We can, like, maybe fast forward. Okay. So, got this crap. Shake it up. I'm going to put a little drop right there. Got a paper towel for cleanup if I need it. You ever buy like one of those things you put together like for your kid or something and you see there's blue on the screw? That would be this crap. They just pre-install it. I guess after it dries it still works too, which is great. I want to try and get it worked up into my threads though before it does dry. Let's check and see how we're doing. Yeah, that's looking pretty level. I'm going to call that good.